So continuing on, we're looking at challenging an opinion. So when you're challenging an opinion, basically you're saying that something that's a widely held opinion is not true. And then you're going on throughout the rest of your essay proving that that opinion is not true. So the example that I have here is all teenagers are bad drivers. So that might be a statement that you make at the beginning, but then you're spending the rest of your essay proving that that statement is often made. However, recent studies prove that this is untrue, which is actually a true statement because generally speaking, people who are quite old are actually much worse drivers than teenagers. And then here's another challenging an opinion. So an advertising example. So it's got a picture of a girl here, and it's basically saying that it doesn't matter what you look like. What they care about most is what's in your head. So who you are in your profession, in this case, as like a doctor or health professional, rather than what you look like. Then we get into definition. Now, if you're going to include definition, this needs to be an important definition, and it should be something that the person doesn't know and is relevant to the whole essay. So don't define something like plot. At this point, everybody who'd be reading an essay by you should know what plot means. However, maybe you're getting deep into something like a particular type of irony, like dramatic irony, or you're talking about something like archetypes. And so you need to define that term before somebody starts reading your essay so they understand what your essay is about. So it should be a useful piece of information for your reader, not something that makes them say, so what? And it might be something that makes them want to read your essay because they want to know more about why you're defining that term at the beginning. So an example I give you here is an archetype in literature is a character that fits into a model of a person, personality, or behavior. So if you're going to say talk about the different archetypes that are present in Hamlet, then you might want to define this at the beginning to help the person understand. Or when we get into Hamlet, you'll see that sometimes one of the things I talk about you writing about is perhaps a mental illness that a character has. And so you might want to define that mental illness at the beginning of the essay. And then this advertising example uses a video. So it's from that Dove campaign where it's talking about like women and their beauty. So they're trying to decide if they pick a beautiful or average door.
It was my choice.
It was my choice.
And now
I
will
question myself
for
for the next
few weeks, maybe months.
We had an option of two pathways to walk, and they led to two doorways.
It was a bit confronting, actually,
to be honest.
to see these big
big
signs and feeling like you had to choose and be self-conscious of how you perceive yourself and perhaps if it lines up with how the rest of the world perceives you.
I went through the average door.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't even hesitate.
漂亮对我的概念来说就是像明星那种遥不可及的那种。我走的是一般。
Mas eu acho que é mais porque eu me arrependi da escolha, porque era diferente do que eu vivo, é diferente do que eu sou.
Am I choosing because of what's constantly bombarded at me, what I'm being told that I should accept, or am I choosing because it's what I really believe?
I walked into that door with said average, and I didn't feel really good after that. Because obviously I had rated myself average and nobody else.
Todos os dias eu passo pela porta comum. E ontem foi um dia único. E eu optei por passar pelo bonita.
I wanted to go through the average door, but my mum just pulled me over to the hospital door.
It was quite a triumphant feeling. It was like telling the world, I think I'm beautiful.
just wish more young women realized it.
要是再给我一次机会走这扇门的话，我觉得我应该会选很美的扇门。
I think I would walk through the beautiful door.
Acho que a porta bonita tá completamente aberta pra mim. Maybe I could walk in that door.
Next time I look into the mirror, I will see somebody really beautiful looking back at me.
Beautiful is a great word. So why not see what's on the other side of that?
So obviously in this advertisement, they're trying to define what the word beauty means. And this kind of goes along with that whole Dove advertisement campaign that they've had lately about like people being beautiful and women being beautiful and things like that. The next one is tell a story. So if you're starting out with telling a story, you need to tell a story that's obviously relevant to what you're going to be arguing or talking about later on in your piece. And it needs to be something that's interesting and draws people in. If it's just about like your regular day and you getting on the bus and things like that, then obviously it's not going to draw people in. It needs to be something that people would care about and make them want to say, okay, well, why are they talking about the story? What does that mean? It doesn't necessarily have to happen to you. It could have happened to someone else. It could have been something that happened in a movie, a TV show, something that happened in the world that just relates to what you're going to talk about, as long as it's accurate, obviously. So, for example, in one of the essays that we used to read in this class called I Don't Suffer Fools Gladly by Jeremy Clarkson, Jeremy Clarkson chose to use a story of a pregnant 11-year-old. So obviously it wasn't his own story. It was a story of a show that he was watching where this pregnant 11-year-old was on the show smoking cigarettes and explaining how she got into her current condition. And he was using that because his whole essay was going on about how society glorifies people who make poor decisions. So it would make you want to keep reading because you kind of wonder, why is he talking about this girl in this really bad situation? So here's another example using a video of telling a story using advertising, and it's from a Tim Hortons ad.
You must study harder. Not just hockey all the time. Ming Ming Dong.
Hi, Charlie. What are you doing here? See, grandson. For you. Jeez, thanks. That a boy. Dad, what are you doing here?
See, Tommy. Double.
Thanks.
Jimmy, you study. No hockey.
He's good. Better than you? How would you know?
Come watch.
Okay. What team did I play for?
You right wing.
My grandson. Thanks for coming, Dad.
Give me my picture back.
So in this advertisement, they were a series of ads. You probably have seen some of them where they had people basically telling stories of real situations where, Tim Hortons affected their lives. So this might draw you in because you want to know, what company is being advertised here, or why is this something that they're having on TV. So that's the end of my presentation on hooks. So now you can work on your hooks